First reading is from Proverbs 3, verses 3 to 6. Let not loyalty and faithfulness forsake you. Bind them about your neck. Write them on the tablet of your heart. So you will find favor and good repute in the sight of God and man. Trust in the Lord with all your heart, and do not rely on your own insight. In all your ways acknowledge him, and he will make straight your paths. Second reading is from Ephesians 3, verse 17 to 19. And that Christ may dwell in your hearts through faith, that you, being rooted and grounded in love, may have power to comprehend with all the saints what is the breadth and length and height and depth, and to know the love of Christ, which surpasses knowledge, that you may be filled with all the fullness of God.
Thank you. Bill and Kelsey, you are loved. As you can see here today, all of us here are absolutely thrilled that you're standing before us, and that you found each other, you've fallen in love, and that you're making this lifelong commitment to each other. Before God, before us as witnesses. This is a time of celebration, and because two lives are being joined as one. I was telling Joe in the tunnel that it's kind of fun that you got married the day, a couple days after the end of the world, supposedly. So, you know, it was kind of, didn't want to start too quick, but now you're committed, so the world's not going to end, so you guys can be together for the rest of your lives. A new family is beginning here today, and we rejoice with you. I love weddings. As a pastor, I have one of the best jobs and the best view because I get to see Kelsey with her dad just as she comes in the door. Well, almost as good as yours. And it's a wonderful, extraordinary wonder because it's a glimpse of how God sees us. Radiant, pure, blameless, forgiven, as the bride is. Beautiful bride as she adorned with a beautiful gown. And he reminds us that the church is the bride. And so at every wedding, we're reminded again of God's love for us. Our reading today spoke about the love of Christ, being wide and long and high and deep, and that our life goal be to know and trust his love. How do we know that there is love? How do we know that God showed his love among us? Well, we know because he sent his son Jesus into the world, that we might, through him, have life. Today is a celebration of love between Joe and Kelsey, but it's also a love that finds its source in God. As I showed you in our marital counseling or the triangle, the closer we grow to God, the closer we actually grow to each other. I'd be surprised, but Jesus loved weddings too. In fact, in Galilee. It seemed like it was a wedding of a family friend, and they were celebrating after the ceremony. And Jesus' mother came to Jesus and said to him, "Tell Jesus we have no more wine." Jesus said, "Well, what matters that for me?" But he told the servants still to fill the jars with ordinary water and then draw out some and bring them to the steward of the feast. And the steward tasted the water. In the meantime, it turned into wine. And he said, "Why do you say the best till last? This wine is everything you've been serving all night. Everyone else brings out the cheap wine at the end. But no one can tell the difference." And that was his first miraculous sign. Through that, he revealed his glory. The disciples put their faith in him. But the point that I want to make by sharing that story, which is a prayer that we'll share later, is that Jesus takes the ordinary parts of life and makes them extraordinary. He takes the most ordinary substance, tap water, and he turns it into the most extraordinary substance, wine. I can't think of a much more earthly relationship than marriage, because it's in marriage that you get to see all of the other person. You get to see their good, the bad. You get to see them on good days, bad days, good hair, bad hair, and all those things. It all happens. But Jesus is the one that takes the ordinary and makes it extraordinary. Like in the area of communication. It's listening to the heart of what your spouse says, not just the words. There are times in any relationship where communication seems to break down. Calling on Jesus at those times and all the time helps us with insight because he helps us understand each other. He helps us see the heart of the person that's talking to us and see the reasons behind what they're saying. Sometimes it's fear or just a situation. And to help us call forth love. He brings out the extraordinary in the area of forgiveness. Ordinary forgiveness is just, "I'm sorry," and the other person saying, "Well, that's okay." But really, making a mental record of, they do that again. Really am. But, that sweeping things under the rug isn't really forgiveness. Jesus is the one that says, "Forgive as the Lord forgives you." It's not just saying that's okay, but it's saying actually, "I forgive you." In the area of serving, ordinary serving is based on whose turn it is. Well, I've done that 3 times in a row. But extraordinary serving is saying, like Jesus, the greatest among you is the one who serves. So my challenge to you would be to outserve one another, to find ways to love each other, not to expect things, but to serve one another. It'll increase your love, and it shows you that love is doing meaningful things for each other, even when you're not asked. Some of your ideas and your wife's ideas may not be the same as far as having fun. What would be fun? But serving the other person is doing what they would like to do as well. It's not a win-win situation. It reminds me that love is not all about you. It's about intimacy and honesty. And that's the next area. Jesus can make it extraordinary in honesty and intimacy. Jesus knows everything about us and he still loves us. Isn't that amazing? He tells us to love like him. So we can let our guard down, trust our wife, trust our husband. And share our hopes and share our fears and our sorrows because they love us. We can be honest with them as we do that trust between you and God. Together life is full of all kinds of ordinary things. But when Jesus is invited in, he makes the ordinary extraordinary. That's a lesson for this first miracle. And I think it's a lesson for the wedding. So when you feel absolutely ordinary and life seems hard, when you're challenged, frustrated, at the end of your rope, remember Jesus. He's going to all things are possible. He wants nothing more than to lead you and be a part of your life together. I'm so glad you live across the street from the church. because you'll never forget that Jesus is here to you. He wants you to be part of, he wants to be part of every moment, every joy, every hardship, every family. What we can through worship, prayer, and reading His Word. Today is a pretty extraordinary day, and we all celebrate this day with you, which will have a lot more ordinary ones. This is the stuff life is made of. Inviting Jesus in makes everything ordinary extraordinary. May God richly bless you today. So, bless you as you begin your life together as husband. The Lord God, in His goodness, created us male and female, and by the gift of marriage founded a community. And joy that begins now is brought to perfection in the lifetime. Because of sin, our age-old rebellion, the gladness of marriage can be overcast, and the gift of family can become a burden. And because God, who established marriage, continues still to bless it with abundant and ever-present support, we can be sustained in our weariness and have our joy restored. Joseph and Kelsey, since it is your intention to share with each other your joys and sorrows and all that the years will bring, with your promises, bind yourselves to each other as husband and wife. Would you all please stand? Go again. I take you, Kelsey, to be my wife. And these things I promise you. I will be faithful to you and honest with you. I will respect, trust, help, and care for you. I will share your life with you. I will forgive you as we have been forgiven. And I will try with you better to understand ourselves, the world and God. Do the best. The worst. Of what is to come. As long as I take you, Joseph, to be my husband. And these things I promise you. I will be faithful to you. Honest with you. I will respect, trust, and always care for you. Share your life with you. I will forgive you as we have been forgiven. And I will try with you better to understand ourselves, the world and God, to the best and the worst, what is here, as long as we please. Our gift of love, symbol of purity, and symbol of strength. You place this ring on Kelsey's finger. Please take it seriously. Kelsey, I give you this ring as a sign of my love for you. Place this ring on Joseph's finger. You say, Joseph, I give you this ring as a sign of my love for you. Joseph and Kelsey, by their promises before God and in the presence of this assembly, have joined themselves together as husband and wife. Those whom God has joined together, let no one separate. Congregation, be seated. This time they will voluntarily show their